podcast. You're listening to the podcast, Connor versus Cobb. I'm Ryan Connor.
Hi, I'm Nick Cobb.
You're Nick Cobb.
I've got a question for you.
Mhm.
For $150,000, would you go to a funeral? You don't have to speak at it. But you do have to stay there the whole time, wearing a hat saying it's not going to suck itself. That's what it says. It's not going to, and it's big letters. This is like you got it at a truck stop. It's not going to suck itself. You've got to wear that
$150,000
at a funeral, big funeral. A lot of people are there. And this hat is
So it's like a trucker hat, right? Where the lettering is very visible. I'm picturing yellow mesh
orange,
with
yellow,
white.
yeah, right.
Yeah, white in the front with black lettering or something.
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, it sounds, it's $150,000 for about 40 minutes, probably 30 minutes. But I don't know if I'd make it out of there alive. That's the catch. Is I don't know if I make it. I mean, you can say I ruined this family's day. I think that's hyperbole. I think people would go, that was crazy. The guy had that hat on at the funeral. I think reasonable people would just go, that was crazy. You saw that? But there would be at least a couple, violent zealots. And I think I'd be lucky to get out alive. Can I pick the funeral? Can it be all weaklings?
I mean, you pick the funeral, the money's going to go down, obviously.
So I'm wearing a black suit and a hat that says it's not going to suck itself.
It may even say something like, what are you looking at? It's not going to suck itself. But that's a lot of words for a hat. But if anybody looks at it, and nobody's wearing a hat there. So
if someone says something to me, can I go, oh my God, I put the wrong hat on?
Sure. But you cannot take it off.
I did not mean this, but my hair is such a mess. I think it would be disrespectful to the corpse to take my hat off.
If you want, you can say stuff like that.
There's also that you're supposed to take your hat off in church, right? Unless you're an old lady. Look, I don't know. Or is that just the national anthem? I don't know.
Look, the question is, what is the money where you're like, yeah, I do it? Is that $250,000 where you're like,
do that if it's a funeral at Coachella, you can wear that hat.
No. Now you're looking for loopholes.
It's like a Baptist church.
Yeah. Baptist church will go 400,000. Baptist church is not going to suck itself.
I think you would definitely get shot in the head in the parking lot. You would get shot in the head in the parking lot by like 5 people at the same time. They'd accidentally shoot each other as well. It would be a 6-man murder.
So you wouldn't do it?
Not at a Baptist one, no. Maybe at a Quaker funeral.
All right. How about
where everybody's friends?
How about 150 and you do know the people? Like they think that you are making a joke, a really bad one. But they don't think they're mad. But
I can never come clean, right? And
yeah, you
tell
can
them
later.
I got paid this money, and then they're like, it's fucked up, but I get it.
That's the best you're gonna do. And you can do that weeks later. It's not gonna suck itself.
200.
200 and you do it.
200 and I do it. If I know I'm safe. If I know I'm safe, I do it for under 200.
You don't know if you're safe. I mean, even if it's a friend, I guess you don't really know if it's safe. I think best case is if you're like some kind of retirement village and no one could take you.
Yeah.
And you sit in the very back.
Can you sit in the back?
I mean, you still got to go through the reception line. And
you pay your respects in front of the casket.
You got to go up to the casket. It's not going to suck itself. Yeah.
200. You?
Yeah, probably
200.
I may chicken out. I don't know. I don't know how many Adderall I would have to get through that situation.
There's no price for me to do it at a Baptist funeral because you are going to get murdered. It's the most, in that situation, you have the quote unquote most religious people imaginable who
Right.
also are all the most want to send people to hell people.
Yeah. Yeah, you get a lot of that.
They would
And
love shooting you.
whatever they say, you just say, I'm just here to pay my respects.
I'm just here to pay my respects, ma'am. Sir, I'm just here. He was a great man. I'm just here to pay my respects. You don't wear that hat around here.
I got hat head, man.
Which hat? I am so embarrassed. So I have a lollipop company, and these were hats we were giving out. And the thing is, this is the same. It's the same color scheme as my. I have another hat that's the same color scheme, except it says "Here lies a good man." And I guess I just grabbed the wrong one today.
That's the best you can do.
But I have hat head, so if
you don't want me to take this off, do you? Because
what if I've got
lice? I've got lice.
I'll tell you what. I'll hold a lollipop, and then people will know what I'm referring to.
God,
that's another question. How much would you have to? How much would it take for you to suck on a lollipop during a funeral? At least 20,000.
Yeah,
that's the most inappropriate
even
thing
gum.
Ever.
How about if you? How much would it cost?
You're just like
for you to eat something from Arby's in the front pew of a funeral.
Front pew.
You've got the drink there, or like a Frosty from Wendy's.
Oh man, Frosty. Okay, I think we're back to. I think like pretty much the same money as the hat.
No.
The
hat's like the food is idiotic.
I mean, you're talking front row though. Front row is insane.
The food's idiotic, but
yeah,
the hat is.
Yeah, the hat can get you killed.
You have no respect for the deceased,
yeah,
or their family, or the church.
I mean, I'd argue you have no respect either if you bring a roast beef to the front row of a funeral.
You do both at the same time, you get $1 million.
People around you are like, you smell horsey sauce? I swear I smell horsey sauce. That's me. All
right, fine. How about middle of the church, and you're eating an Auntie Anne's huge pretzel with a mustard cup?
Middle of the church.
You're surrounded, and you're eating Auntie Anne's.
75,000.
Oh, okay. All right, I could go on about this forever. That is the easiest one.
It really does change. Like the type of food really does change the price. It's weird, but a roast beef sandwich is so much more offensive than a pretzel.
Yeah, the roast beef. Yeah, the Arby's is really tough.
And while a lollipop is the most insane thing, for some reason it feels less embarrassing than a roast beef.
Okay, fine. The last one. You walk in late and you say a little bit too loud when you're going into your pew, I got some Jimmy John's on the way here. I got Jimmy John's on the way here.
Oh, I mean, I just say that. I'd say that for, $5.
No, but it's still a funeral, and you have the Jimmy John's.
Oh, and I actually have it.
Yeah,
and I'm eating it there. Oh, no,
yeah.
I thought you meant just saying the phrase. Yeah, I mean, we're still probably talking about 70,000.
Yeah, I think I can't think of a polite food, but something like soup plantation may not be as bad. Dude,
salad. Well, before we get out of here, I saw that the Golden State Warriors served spaghetti in their arena.
Know.
It was behind the bench. Someone was eating a plate of spaghetti. That is absurd.
When I went to that Bulls game a couple weeks ago, I had a phenomenal pulled pork sandwich.
Oh, that's great.
It was not nice to my butt later.
I just think anyone who orders a plate of spaghetti at a basketball game should be put on a list, and they're not allowed to buy tickets to a basketball game ever again.
You shouldn't. Nothing should be able to be held like on a regular plate.
Right.
I don't like it. Like you get bumped and like spill it on somebody's face, and I don't like the idea of having a fork and just.
It's too much.
Yeah,
it's too much. Nick, let's get straight to beans. All right,
Mm.
as they say on the streets. Talking to my friend Jingle Master Tony. All
Oh,
right.
wait, before you go into this, because this is going to be a thing.
Yeah.
I'm not a wrestling fan, but I heard that there was a big Nas Reed fan at WrestleMania, and there was a banner for Nas Reed in the crowd of WrestleMania.
I don't watch wrestling either, but I like Nas Reed.
I love Nas Reed.
Minnesota's sixth man. That's pretty great.
I think he'd be the best player on my team. So
yeah.
come on
Bulls
over.
Could use him too.
Come down to Memphis, have some barbecue.
Listen to me. So I get a text.
Yeah.
Tony, we're talking about like he's going to be in DC at a time when I'm going to be there, and he's like, "You doing a show?" I said, "I'm going to try to put one together, guys. It's probably going to be September 19th. It looks like, or September 20th, whatever the Saturday is."
Mm-hmm.
And he said the last time he saw me do a set was at the Wine Bar in LA, which is where me, you, and our friend Brendan Fitzgibbons ran a show. And it was very empty.
Oh, I thought for a second you were going to be talking about James Fry's like huge Malibu wine bar, and there was no one there, which would have been surprising.
No. The show that you and I ran every week in Vino. So
right, that wine bar show.
So I said, hopefully this will be better than that. No promises. He said, "Look, I'm hoping to see Nick to apologize for lying to him when he asked me at that same show who I was there to see, and I said, quote, I'm just a fan of comedy. It's been eating at me for years."
When he should have said Ryan Connor. That's who I came to see.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he should have said. And then I said, want his address so you can send him flowers. He says, ha, 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 yes.
Okay.
So I sent him your address and then wrote, very proud of you.
Yeah.
Then this was late at night. The next morning, he says, well, shit, wasn't expecting an actual address. Now I have to commit to the bit. And then maybe some sort of typo and something about an apology note that says totally not a stalker, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, just send a card. Just send a card. That's funny enough. And it costs less. Do that. And he goes, they're already sent. And I need to atone for my sins for Easter. And I hope they make it the centerpiece for tomorrow's dinner. So, Nick, what happened?
Dude, just well played by Jingle Master Tony, a guy that I wouldn't recognize in a two-person lineup. There's no way that I would remember him. And he just played this so well. And you guys got a massive assist from the night that I had before I got the flowers.
What do you mean?
You got a massive assist. First off,
what an assist in what way?
I don't know. Should I tell you about the flowers? And because he picked the perfect flowers, the perfect vase, and the perfect card, and not only that, the perfect handwriting, all of that stuff.
Uh-huh.
I had it's like if 1-800-Flowers started their own like stalker line of flower vase, like flower. That's what it was.
Do you have a photo? Can you show us the flowers on the podcast here?
It's like Bloomhouse bouquets. That's what this would be.
Can you go get them and show them on camera?
It's right. I brought them with me.
Yeah.
So, and the card doesn't help. Because again, I don't know these are coming. This says in kind of like a hybrid cursive manuscript that anyone over like 35 writes in. He writes, Nick, I'm atoning. Now, again, I don't know who this is from. So atoning right there. I know you already said it, so it takes some of the like oomph out of it. But atoning in the first line is not a good sign.
Yeah.
In a random card from flowers I didn't expect. Nick, I'm atoning for past sins this year Easter. Please forgive me for lying to you when you asked me a question for crowd work and lied. And then there's an arrow to the back. The lie wasted your time and was unhelpful. Lying is bad. TC. The first thing my wife said was, who is TC, of course, and is our old boss, what's her last name? Could that be it? But that is not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about first off, we had taken the kids somewhere that morning. And we were pulling out of the house, and there was somebody. Occasionally, somebody will be parked like right next to your driveway, and it's kind of odd because you don't recognize the car, but you don't think about it. Sometimes, though, someone will be parked 5 feet away from the curb with clearly no intention of moving. The brake lights aren't even on. They're in the car, and they're fumbling with their phone, and it's just, it's real sketchy. It was she's probably 25. And Amy and I both noticed it. And so we circled the block a couple of times. The next time we circled and came back around, she leaned over as not to be seen.
Oh.
Right? So she's in front of my house, 5 feet in front of the curb. And
so you're both worried this could be TC.
I haven't gotten it yet. I'm backtracking a little bit. Sorry, a little memento. So we're just like, this is odd. Somebody's in front of our house, but maybe it's for our neighbor and blah, blah, blah. And we're like, whatever, everything's locked up. It'll be fine. So we take the kids swimming, come back. What do you know? There's flowers on the doorstep. And we're like, it must have been that girl who was out front. And we look at the envelope, and it says the address is off by one number. It's off by one number. So I'm like, well, certainly that's what that girl was doing on her phone in there, because she's like, I don't see a 19 here.
She's like,
I have a 18 on the envelope.
Yeah,
so she's talking to the florist. I'm like, okay, still pretty odd. Then we take a look at the card, and I feel like our pulse went up 30 beats a minute. Both of us we freaked out.
When she saw the card, did she think you were having an affair with a clown or something? Like what?
We just thought a show stalker. That's what we thought.
Yeah.
Because the language is so cryptic. They use the word atone, and they say something like, it's unhelpful, lying is wrong, and it's Easter. None of this is good. None of it's good. I'm kind of freaking out low level because of this. I mean, in and of itself, it would have just been whatever. If I wouldn't have thought much about it. I just figured it would have been you. But the night before, my good friend, Sean Donnelly, is headlining at the Vault nearby. And I go by for a guest spot. And whenever I'm at this club, because a year ago, when I was leaving that club, I got T-boned, got into a bad wreck. So I always tell this little story when I'm at the club. And I motion like, a year ago, I drove to St. Charles and I waved my left hand as if I went that way down the street, right? Just kind of a little performance. And a guy came right up to me after that. And also, by the way, I think I don't know if this would be considered crowd work, but to start a joke, I was just like, hey, anybody else here drive just a complete piece of shit? And if somebody says anything and somebody did in the back, how many miles you got in your car? And that's it. I don't know if you'd say that's crowd work or not, but anyway.
Has anyone ever set a table more thoroughly than Nick is right now?
Hang on. So a guy who looks like he's from Blade Runner or something, except it's like he's got this this yellow jacket, and he comes right up to me and he goes, you pointed the wrong way when you said where you got your wreck. You were pointing the wrong direction.
Hilarious. This just happened that day, the night before you got the flowers?
It was the night before I got the flowers. He came up and he's like, I've got a note for you. He's like, I enjoyed your set, but I have a note for you. You pointed the wrong way.
You pointed east.
Yes.
That's what he's saying? You pointed.
Yes. He said you pointed. That's exactly what he said. He said you pointed east.
Non-comics out there, here's a little tip about comics. We just point with whichever hand isn't holding the microphone at the time. Doesn't matter.
And I didn't want to turn the other way.
I
just wanted it to look the most emphatic as I possibly could. So I was just like, I drove and I went to St. Charles and I got T-bone. And he's like, you should have used your left hand, basically. This is his note. So this guy, and I was just doing a guest spot. There was an hour left in the show. He was thinking about this the whole time because he beelined over to me. He had nothing to say to Sean, nothing to say to anybody else. This is what he wanted to say. And then after 20 seconds of like stumbling over his words, he's like, I'm just kidding with you, man. But that is true. It is true that it was the other way.
That might be the craziest audience note I've ever heard.
Yeah. So
Like
after that,
not exaggerating.
It-
20
no, it-
whatever years. That is
absurd.
the craziest one.
It is. I mean, like it'd be kind of like it is a. It's like, oh, I
don't
paid
even know.
$8 for a Bud Light, and somebody comes up to you and they're like, Bud Lights aren't $8 around here. They're $9.25. I mean,
Right.
it's just such a nothing, and like, man, you really wanted to come and say something. So it was already odd.
Right.
He was dressed odd. His mannerism was odd. And I mean, he looked like he came out of a tube at 25. That's what he looked like. So I go to a bar to hang out with Sean, and who's there to basically greet me at the front door is that guy. And I'm like, hey, how you doing, note guy? And he goes, hey, how about some blackjack? And you want to play some blackjack with me? And he's got like chips and stuff. Like
At a bar? He's like he's trying to be the blackjack dealer at a bar?
correct. At just like one, like 4-person high top. Actually, maybe it's 3-person.
You can't. That's illegal, right?
Well, not in this guy's world. And
By the way, hold on. Can I tell you a quick aside for me saying that's illegal?
Please.
We went into this it's called Smorgasburg here. It's just like a Sunday or like once a month kind of food market thing in LA. And we have our dog with us, and as we go in, the security stops us and goes, "Excuse me, is that a service dog?" And I go, "Oh no, he isn't." And he goes, "Is he a service dog?" And I go, "No, can we not come in?" And he goes, "Is he a service dog?" And I go, "Oh, yeah, he's a service dog." Like I didn't.
At that point, you got to palm him $10.
I know. I did not. I didn't take the cue, and I felt like I was breaking laws. But go ahead. Sorry.
It's scary times. I know. I completely understand. Service dogs, they all are. They're all in service to us. They kind of are. So I actually had to write notes to this because, like, I've got to get you to understand how big of an assist you got.
I know. This is fascinating, man.
So he asked me to play blackjack. And I politely pass. Like, no, I haven't seen my friend in a long time. And he has this, like, he was really disappointed. He was like, he had a sad look on his face. And I tried to make a joke and be polite and all that stuff. But he wasn't happy that I wasn't going to play blackjack. Yet I sat 3 feet away from the guy.
Yeah. Why don't people understand that it's like, it's not that I don't like you. It's I have other things to do, and like you know what I mean?
If he had said, you want to have a drink, bullshit for a minute, sure, for sure. But blackjack, like, I'll stay there for an hour.
Do you want to go watch a movie?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe it's more about me that I'm like, if I start playing, I'll just keep playing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. I'm here to talk to my friend.
Right.
So the next morning we leave, we see the girl out there 5 feet away, not knowing how to drive and not knowing how to park, looking around. We circle around. She's still there. We leave, we come back. Flowers are there. In this card saying, I'm sorry about wasting your time with the crowd work. And it's time to atone. Then I called the florist and I said, when did this person order this for me? And they said, first thing this morning. They ordered it first thing this morning. So I'm like, it's some weirdo from last night. It's the Blade Runner kid. He's the one who ordered this. How in the hell did he get my address? So I'm calling like the club. I'm like, is someone coming up to you asking for my address at the club? And they're like, oh God, no, we would never get it. So I'm like, I'm really spinning out. Like someone is stalking me. And then look again at the bouquet.
The flowers. I mean, for those of you doing the audio version, it's like a giant. It's like a fishbowl shaped mug with like a yellow. It's yellow with a smiley face. It looks like the Kool-Aid Man actually, but yellow and with a handle. And then what was it? Yellow roses and daisies? Is that what it was?
I don't know. All I know is
the color of friendship.
Yeah. So all that stuff's going through my head. I call the florist. They give me his name. I don't know who Anthony Chadwick is. I don't know that name. So what do? I start Googling it. And who do I get? 3 sex offenders in my area. That's who I get. Yes.
3
sex offenders. and it's all very blurry. And I'm like, okay, so a sex offender was at the show, and now he's stalking me and wanting to atone. He wants to atone on Easter because it's the day of resurrection, and so he
Oh
wants to
man.
atone for stalking and wasting my time with crowd work. So,
Oh man, this is so great.
so then I called. The florist calls me back, and she's like, I got his number. I called him. He said it's okay if I give you his information. I don't know that I want his information. Now he's expecting a call, and he could be mad if I don't call him. And then she's like, and here's where he lives, Bethel, Washington. So I have his name. I look up his name in the city, and on Facebook, we come up, and there's one friend, one mutual friend, one.
I don't know how it's not two. He and I are friends too.
It's not you, man. So I figured, well, it's not
I might have
Ryan.
that
This
shit
whole time I
turned
thought it
off,
was Ryan.
so you can't search me. So you can't search that for me. Yeah, it must just be turned off, so you can't search it for me. But okay, continue.
So at this point, I'm thinking it's not Ryan, or it is, and he's really covering his tracks. Like they unfriended each other just so they could, they would anticipate me searching this way.
Yeah.
But the one friend is our mutual friend, Aaron Conroy. And so I tell her this whole thing, and she can't believe it. And then I tell her it's Anthony Chadwick, and she's just like, oh, you're fine. That's Jingle Master Tony.
Yep.
And yeah, and that was that. But it scared the shit out of us. It really scared Amy. Like legit, the combination of the note, the TC, and the sex offenders, all of that.
It's amazing. I mean, God, it could not be set up better with the both of these people getting on you and it's about crowd work. This
Something
host
I don't
asking if his bit is crowd work. I don't know what you do with that.
Paul's little prank really landed, and you got a lot of assist from the gods.
Look, I talked to a friend last night who produces and directs TV shows, and I told him about our idea for Dinosaur Kumite, which is really your idea. I just said, yeah, that's great.
I just love it.
He loves it too. I think it would be the most watched event in television history, even more than Man vs. Beast on Fox, where the man raced the giraffe and another person did tug of war with a gorilla or whatever it was. I think it would be great. And I have an idea. You have the Triassic division and the Jurassic division. So it's like conferences. Okay. And then at the end, they face each other. Because then I think that drives up the betting. DraftKings would love it, because you bet on who's gonna make it, and then does Jurassic or Triassic win it all?
Well, that's an interesting take. I just figured we'd do weight classes. I mean, that's one
too.
way. But just regular old weight classes, try to make it as much like UFC or Kumite, but not that Kumite had weight classes. Because if you remember, that huge dude ended up fighting like the little guy, the squirrely dude that's crawling around. But I think weight class. I mean, no one's interested in watching, or how about just dinosaurs that can walk on 2 feet versus dinosaurs that can walk on 4.
Versus quadrupeds.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that.
If you want a weight class, it can be like each dinosaur gets up to 5 tons. If you're a raptor, get about 75 of you out there.
Yeah,
get up to 5. But I don't think that's quite right. I think you have a tag team division for those.
Oh,
you have a tag team division for those. But you need to, and then you can have your heavyweight division, right? Where it's like, T-Rex might go against, say, Brachiosaurus, right? And people will be like, well, T-Rex is vicious. Well, Brachiosaurus is
huge.
I don't know, probably 10 times its size, maybe 20 times its size. But they were like 80, 90 million years apart. No one knows what would happen. I'm going with the Triassics. I'm going with Triassics. I'm just gonna put it out there.
This is all, this is just all theoretical here. I mean, we really could get a bull to fight a dog. We could do that. I don't know why we're dealing in hypotheticals when if we could just befriend a couple of farmers or go to one of these little safari parks, we could do that just with the proper training and incentives.
I'm going to say this though. I don't know how many people would turn on Netflix to watch Bull versus Dog. I think everyone would be like, "This is cruel, and these people should be in prison." But
All right, a
Dinosaur
pack of dogs.
Kumite, give me a break. A pack of dogs. Dinosaur Kumite. I think every man on the planet would watch that, and I think
Every
you get
child certainly would.
every child, every man, and probably about 15 to 25% of women.
Sure. I mean, you just
Maybe
get a
10 to
couple of
15.
cute dinosaurs in there. That's all.
Oh, right. They're like the ring girls.
No, I just mean like they just have to have someone there to root for that's cute. Like, what's a cute dinosaur? Like, I think probably a Triceratops is as cute as it gets. You get one of those guys, and
I mean, I might go Triceratops to win it all. It's so defensive. It's so defensive. It doesn't have teeth. It doesn't have claws, but it's powerful. It's got a strong tail. If it needs it. Oh, dude. Ankylosaurus though. It's got like
does
a
it have a
hammer
good
for a
ground
tail.
game? Who's the jiu-jitsu?
Well, Ankylosaurus has the best ground game, right? It has the armored back, and its tail is like a hammer.
Yeah. Then how do you get it? Like,
it'll break people's knees. Not people. Dinosaur.
We would need
knees.
a ref that keeps them like they have to be attacking.
Oh, the ref will be a woolly mammoth, even though they're way later in time. It's just a funny ref.
What are the chances of us at least being able to get an animated version of this off the ground?
Man, like the Laugh Olympics. You remember the Laugh Olympics?
No.
Oh, it was great. It was a Hanna-Barbera show. We used to watch as kids. It was
yes, I do.
I don't know. It was like the blue, the red, and the green against each other. It was like the green were like the bad guys. I can't. It was like Yogi had a team.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the other teams were.
I wouldn't be against the dinosaur Olympics. Like even just the track and field would be fantastic. The relay.
Yeah. I'm going to try to put this together. I'm going to see what we can do. I don't know any animators. I don't know how to animate, but we're going to see what we can do because I would absolutely love this. Let's try. Hey, we got to pay the bills, Nick.
Okay.
This week's episode is brought to you. Is it brought to you or brought to us? Brought to everyone.
Brought to everybody.
It's brought. Today's episode is brought by Stapler for a Day. This is Stapler for a Day is America's fastest growing stapler rental firm. Now, I don't know about you, Nick, but I only need a stapler about once every 14 months. How often would you say you staple something?
Best case, once a month.
Once a month? Okay. Well, you have kids. You might end up needing to staple a little bit more. Well, you know what?
I've told you about my stapler. I've never owned anything longer than I have my stapler. And I still have the same box of staples. Still the same one. Well,
probably staples like shit then. All right.
Since I was 11. I've had it since I was 11. Like it took me 10 years to go through a whole sleeve of staples. I can't believe they just give them away like that. So you can get
let me tell you
something.
You
can get a lifetime of staples for what, $1.50?
Let me tell you something though, Nick. There's only so much room in your house, and that stapler's taking up space that you could use for something else. What I recommend doing is just throwing out that old stapler and subscribing to Stapler for a Day. With Stapler for a Day, you don't have to drop $14.99 on a classic swing line and another $6 on 3 million staples. With Stapler for a Day, you can rent not a swing line, but a Douglas Pure. That's DOUGLASS Pure, the Rolls Royce of staplers. If you think you've stapled before, you have not, and you should shut up about it unless you've used a Douglas Pure.
Yeah.
So go to staplerforaday.com and use the promo code Connor V. Cobb for 1 free month of Stapler for a Day subscription.
They need to stay in their lane. Just always talking shit. When I grew up, like in Rent-A-Center commercials were on during Saturday morning cartoons, I was always baffled. Like, I get that you'd rent a couch and I get that you'd rent a lazy boy, but when it was the Ottoman that got me.
I thought you were going to say rims. They always had rims too.
When people are renting the Ottoman, it's wild to me.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to rent an Ottoman forever rather than just like put a crate under your feet.
Wait a minute. Your issue is different from what I thought it would be. Hold on. Is it weird to you that it's a solo ottoman, not an ottoman with a couch or a chair?
Sure.
I thought that's what you're saying. Like, it would be like, this ottoman's not going to match what you already have. Or are
Yeah,
you
but
just
the fact
saying,
that-
why
the
don't you
fact
use a crate instead of an ottoman? Is that your argument?
I just don't understand. For some reason,
Who has a crate?
there's just a difference there or a bot, whatever. Like, the idea of renting a couch, cool, but why would you rent the ottoman and how much does that cost to rent? Like $8 a month?
Well, sometimes people like to put their feet up.
Okay, fine. It just
What,
seems,
is that a real question? Why don't you just put them on a trash can? What?
I mean, kind
Is this a real question?
it just feels like it's like, yeah, you're in a pinch. You're going to rent your furniture for a month or two. But it seems like ottoman, it's like, isn't that, you don't need that.
I see what's happening. You're seeing this as someone who's waiting because their couch won't be delivered for a month and a half, their new couch. I'm seeing this as someone who's like on a work assignment somewhere for 6 months and they need to just rent furniture because they're not going to buy it.
Yeah, of course. You're seeing it from the privileged side. Now,
How is that
I'm surprised
privileged?
Rent a Center is even a thing anymore because you have because this person you have is working. They're on a work assignment. Now that Facebook Marketplace is a thing, I don't know why anyone would need to rent an ottoman anymore.
Well, that's fair. Although I still, I don't know. I'd rather not.
Rent?
I don't know. It's just a lot of work, man. Facebook Marketplace. It's so much work.
Oh, I love it.
I just give everything to Goodwill.
I sold a coffee table today.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. We
What do
weren't
you-
really using it and like whatever. I mean,
How much do you get for a coffee table?
$120. And I mean, it looks nice. And like, then I was like, well, my kids are going to need something to like paint on. So I got them, like, there was a free one down the street. So I just, whatever.
Look at you, man.
I know. I like it. I like that hustle. There's
Fucking
something
flipping
very
tables.
satisfying about those kind of transactions. By the way, I want to tell you, and I better keep this one quiet, that, the Easter Bunny came the other day. And somehow, even with all the social media and all the YouTube, my daughter still believes in the Easter Bunny. But
It's adorable. Are you sure she's not playing a game because she thinks if she acknowledges it's not real, then she thinks she won't get peeps anymore?
you think that it would have changed this Easter because this Easter was kind of sad. Amy went and got everything at the dollar store, so it's kind of like off-brand peeps, off-brand like ring pops. We got off-brand ring pops.
What are they called?
I'm not sure. They were shit pops. I don't know. They were, and it just wasn't what Easter has been in the past. And this was we were kind of ready for like, hey, if she asks, are we going to tell her the truth? Yeah. But she hated all the candy so much that we told her the Easter Bunny was real and we threw him under the bus.
That's amazing. She
was
bought it?
like, yes.
She was
like, the Easter Bunny didn't bring anything good at all this year. Like, I hate this candy. I'm just throwing it out. And I'm like, I know he's real and he's cheap. I heard he went to Dollar General.
You start explaining contracts to look, he signed a deal with Dollar General and he has to get everything from Dollar General. It's
That's
a
his
3-year
vendor.
deal. He's locked in for 3 years.
She was like, this isn't even real chocolate. It's just so bad. How come it's worse than years before? And I didn't want to get into like, what's going to happen if I tell her that it's not real? Then I've got to say, well, mom and dad are in between jobs right now. And so, we went to Dollar General to do the Easter. And so we just say, we say the Easter Bunny was hard up this year.
Was she, when you told her that you and Amy got laid off, did you also tell her that I got laid off, and was she just as sympathetic to me?
We didn't tell her that we got laid off, and yet she still asked about you, which is the strange thing.
Oh, that's so nice.
She's like, my Easter sucks. How is Ryan's Easter? And
How was
like,
Ryan's Easter?
I don't know. You're gonna have to ask him. He's got 18 brothers.
Yeah, there was no family. We just kind of like, I don't even know what we did yesterday. We went to that smorgasbord thing, and I don't remember. I went to my friend Pete's birthday party last night.
I would love to be able to answer a question like that as genuinely as you just did, where you're like, I don't know what I did yesterday. That sounds so relaxing. God, that sounds good. Instead of mine, which is like the Easter Bunny sucked, and we haven't done anything all weekend.
Well, we were out places, but I can't remember like doing what. I know I got pizza.
Sounds
I got
great.
pizza, and then we got gelato on the way home.
Oh God, sounds great. All of that sense. You know what I realized, and I don't know what made me realize this. I guess when I was at that bar on Friday night, is that I don't know. Like, we grew up, especially like in the 2000s and such, college, out of college, there were a lot of like comedies about wingmanning, about being a wingman. There was probably like a Jennifer Aniston movie about wing womaning. You know, there's probably something like that. It was a big thing. People talked about it all the time, as much as like they talked about getting a designated driver. People would talk about like, who's your wingman? I can't go out without a wingman. Oh, I got a wing woman. Oh, my sister's my wing woman, or blah blah blah. Oh,
I accidentally get the premise.
I hooked up with my wing woman. And then the other night at the bar, I'm never at bars anymore. I think that like technology has like made wingmanning extinct. I don't think it exists anymore. I just don't. And I came up with a couple of examples just from my old friend group. Like, I had a friend named Jeff, and from 2000 to 2010, he would pride himself on dancing with like the oldest girl in the group for an hour. But now, like, all of those girls they were all Karens. And now, like today, they would be afraid of being filmed. Like, so that's not happening. Then we had a friend who just, and everybody does, like the guy who seems like repulsed by any woman that wants to have sex with him. And so instead he's like, I'll just drive everybody everywhere. But now that's not a thing because you got Uber. And most importantly, like a genuine wingman, when you're talking to somebody, if a girl is wingwomaning for a friend and she has to listen to some chunky guy talk about his goals, whatever, that dude just on Wordle. Like, there's no need for it.
There's no need.
It's completely extinct.
And Rachel told me she did this recently for a friend. And I was like, okay. I didn't have any follow-ups. It was like,
like we're complaining, like you can't complain about everybody being on their phone all the time, even in social settings, and also need a wingman. Like, it's not there, because a third wheel doesn't even matter. They're just there on their phone.
Yeah, it's sort of, it is. It's sort of a retired, I don't even say it a pastime, but like skill and necessity. It just doesn't need to happen. I mean, you don't want to be rude though. You don't want to just cut someone off. So it makes sense to occupy someone's time, but that's just not how people meet people anymore. Thank God.
But even if they did meet at a bar, like, and there were 4 of you there, and 2 of you were interested in each other, and the other 2 weren't, and you're just killing time, those 2 people are on their phone.
Yeah, they would be. They would be, but just thank God we're not in that time anymore, where it was like, if that's the way you're going to meet someone, you're like, 70% chance they're an alcoholic.
I thought it, man. I think that it's great to meet somebody at a bar. I thought it was great.
Yeah, but you hear what I'm saying though. It's like, am I meeting you because you're here every night, or this happens to be the night you're here?
True, but it was that's kind of unfair. I mean, you could say like, yeah, a little bit, because people would naturally go to bars just to meet people. Like, that's where you went. It's with that logic, you'd be saying, oh, if you met someone on,
that's true,
someone online, you'd be like, oh, are you just trying to, like,
are you always on ESPN.com?
Shack in the woods? Yeah,
you're right. I stand corrected. But okay, this is something that you sent to me a lot, and I didn't fully understand the ramifications. This NIL stuff, which stands for what? Image and likeness. What is the
name, image, likeness? Yeah,
name, image, and likeness. So it used to be that college athletes in video games or whatever, it would just have their number and it would look like them, but they would have a fake name. Or just
like
be
EA
player
Sports
21.
98. Sure.
Yeah, and you're just like, I know that's Ed O'Bannon because of his head and number. And so, because I think Ed O'Bannon was the first person to sue for this.
Yes,
way back.
He was way back.
So now there's a thing which you probably heard about. I think this was in went to the Supreme Court, didn't it? Where anyway, college athletes can make money now off their name, image, and likeness. I always thought this money was supposed to come from sponsors, but apparently it's coming from universities, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But I guess it's like the universities using your name, image, and likeness. And there are players making millions of dollars a year to play college sports. Blows my mind. You've sent this to me many times, and you've asked me like, what would you do? And I'm like, yeah, you would just play college for 4 years and just never play a sport again, right? Just never even work out again. Just retire off of playing 35 games against people who are barely adults.
I suppose it would depend on the sport, but first off, it's not necessarily from the university, because the university is getting that money probably from boosters. And so like take the Memphis Tigers, for example,
but still, I'm saying it's not like a Nike deal. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. Although they do have deals. Like if you look into it, if you look into Caitlin Clark or whatever, any big name athlete now, they'll say they have deals with Gatorade, they have deals with Powerade, they have deals with Nike. Like they have all these deals too. And so but NIL is really kind of a vague like umbrella where it's just, like BYU is going to pay the incoming like high school player of the year or whatever, $7 million. Now, do they know that's what his name, image, and likeness is worth? No. It's just like
that's more than I got for my dry bar special.
100%. I would just do 4 years.
Yeah,
it's like that guy at Texas Tech. They're like, we don't even want you to enter the transfer portal. We'll give you $3 or $4 million to stay here. It's like, okay.
Why would you take a pay cut to go to the NBA? It wouldn't make any sense. And to play against competition that's 500 times better.
Cooper Flagg's going to the NBA.
Literally, like, yeah, it's true. I mean, how many NCAA players actually make an NBA team the next year? Probably 35, 40.
Oh, if you're
30?
Projected to be outside of the top 10 drafting,
yeah,
and you're a sophomore,
it's a coin flip.
Why would you not just, okay, how much are you going to pay me to stay, coach?
Well, then you asked me the question, if they get paid this much, should they even have to go to class? And at first I was like, well, there would be some real resentment from people who are there for academics. And you're like, this guy who's making money, presumably from tuition, living on campus and stuff, all this stuff, there would be real resentment, especially from their teammates. But that's sort of beside the point, the teammate resentment, because one guy's making $7 million, the other guy's just getting academics or just having their tuition paid for, right? But then there was the point where it's like, wait, I'm just thinking of European soccer teams, right? Wolfsburg is owned by Volkswagen, and it would be like if you had made the Wolfsburg players put in a shift at Volkswagen every week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So is this where you stand? Is that where you land on it? That if they get paid a ton of money, there should be a threshold where they don't have to go to class anymore.
I don't think they should have to go to class. I think it should be completely optional. Even if dude's making $50,000,
just make it optional. Okay,
yeah, that is his career. And like, I don't want any of this nonsense where they were trying to even sell fans on the fact that these are students.
Yeah.
Can we get rid of that? Like, if some of them elect to be students, fine. But should they be happy with that? Yeah, in an ideal world, they should be happy with that.
What if it's this? You either get an education, like if you take all the money, then you also don't get classes. How about that? Is that fair?
What, money or classes? I'll take the money.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it would be stupid not to. But I mean, that seems like a fair middle ground, right? Where no one can complain. It's like, well, hold on, you get a scholarship and all this money. It was like, well,
and you're not even going to class, and you're
not going to class,
and you're having your tutors do all your work for you. Yeah. I mean, none of it's not going to come across as fair at all. Like nothing, none of it's fair. But if you're paying some kid, this is not like a rare thing. If you're paying like a non-starter $700,000 a year to play 35 basketball games, which is happening all over this country, then why pretend that he is interested or is actually attending class. Like if
Yeah.
you're paying $700,000, your sole interest should just be playing basketball.
Yeah.
That should be
Well,
it. That
have
should
you
be it.
have you heard all these there are a lot of athletes that say they got, I can't remember, there's a good joke name for it, but like an athlete's degree, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they get out and they realize they're not qualified for any job because their degree is a sham degree. And
Go to Enterprise. That's where all those guys go.
well, yeah,
Go work in them.
and then but the thing I was gonna say is like, even if I lost my train of thought. I had a good point. I lost it. I was
so they can't get a job with their degree
yeah.
after working. So that kind of gives your point even more credence to your like, well, then if that's your case, if you make it through your 4 years and you made a few million after that, well, then just go get your degree then.
That's what I was going to say. That's right. Because then they're most of them are going to blow their money, right?
Sure.
Multimillionaire 18-year-olds are going to blow their money. That was my point. You're not ready to go to school if you don't want to go to school. Let them play the sport. Let them play. They don't get a degree. They play their 4 years. They don't get a degree. They just, they were just on SportsCenter instead. I think it's fair.
It's truly a market because they can play. They don't even have to play the year. What was that kid at UNLV last year? I think the quarterback who played 2 games, hadn't gotten his money yet, which was like 100,000, 200,000, was playing well. And they went to him to suit up, practice. He's like, I'm not going on that field until you pay me. I am not going on. You promised me $100,000. I haven't gotten my $100,000. I can still enter the portal right now without losing eligibility for this
portal
year.
Means like transfer?
Yeah. I can still go transfer to somebody else. But if I set foot on game 3, I lose it. I lose the whole year. So you're paying me now. And a lot of people like took his side.
This is
like,
crazy.
You promised this guy $100,000, and which is a pittance now.
Yeah.
For a quarterback. You promised him $100,000 and you didn't pay him. And so he's moving on.
Yeah, this is wild, man.
It is. It is the Wild West. Everybody, if you even have, forget about, obviously, if you have a great season, like the best player in the Tigers went from, I think, Tulsa to Memphis, and now he's like the 3rd highest ranked scoring player in the country. Something, don't quote me on it, something like that. And so he's just moving up in the world, and then he will enter the transfer portal because he is projected as better than some of the guys that have gotten $3 million. And he made like 700,000, something like that. So he's going to transfer somewhere else. And why wouldn't you? So you're just jockeying constantly. But he had a good year. Yeah. Even players that have mediocre years, there's still every incentive for them to go into the transfer portal and just see where they're at. Where am I at? Am I worth $2? I want to know. Can I get 60K somewhere? So I don't think it's ending anytime soon. This is just how it is, and I don't think it has one lick to do with academics.
Yeah, this is wild, man.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
I don't even know what to say. Because it's going to get to a point where they're like, okay, there's no return on this money, right?
There are plenty of coaches who have said, like, I've gone up to players who I'm not even sure I would want, but then, like, maybe as a bench player, and said what was implied was like 500,000, and the player and their family scoffed at it. Like, 500,000? What are you talking about? Because think about it, if you're that person, you don't have any plans. You don't think you're going to go to the NBA, maybe play in Europe. Why do you give a shit about playing Kentucky or at Duke?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Just matter.
Be
you
big
can
fish
go to
in a
BYU.
little pond. Yeah, be big fish, little pond.
What if Western could? What was Rutgers spent all their money last year on 2 players. They ended up being crap. But and Rutgers isn't a big program. It's not a small one, but it's not a big one. But what if Western Kentucky offered you $600,000?
We're gonna see this collapse at some point. It's gonna be like the streaming wars, right? And then it's gonna get to a point where they're like, okay, we kind of need to stop burning our money.
I think it would be more resentment from other athletes in other sports.
Yeah, I mean,
Swimmers,
other people on your
wrestlers.
team too. Plus, the only people who are getting paid are basketball and football, right?
No, I remember years ago when this first started, I remember seeing a thing because like the Pac-10 will air those like beach volleyball games in the
Uh huh.
Pac-10,
They were getting money,
and anybody can get it.
but but you know
Like
the thing
like
is,
a gymnast, a gymnast at LSU is one of the richest college athletes there is.
wow,
She just from like her,
wow,
just she's blown
from
up with it.
Instagram.
She
Well,
like
I
two
was
and a
just
half
gonna say,
million or something.
most sports lose money for the universities. We've talked
Yes.
about this on here.
Yeah.
It's like a handful of football programs and a handful of basketball programs. Every other university is propped up by tuition, you know.
Okay.
But then certain programs make tens of millions a year in profit.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what do you do if you're a school, you know, that's not one of these that profits a lot, and suddenly you're forced to pay your basketball players $300,000 or whatever, and your basketball team sucks, but you have the best lacrosse team in the country or something like that, and you can't give them a dime.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that you can, if they're college players, you can pay them. Like I said, one
No,
of
I'm
the
just saying
first instances
money-wise,
I
you're
heard
not.
about was two
Yeah.
girls electing to play beach volleyball at USC, UCLA, something like that, and that they were so stoked because they thought that the implication was they were going to make about 60 grand a year to play beach volleyball,
Mm-hmm.
which I'd do that.
Yeah, 60 grand a year, you better be going to class too.
Right, sure. But just to answer your question, that is something I heard a couple of years ago. Not to say that like
Yeah.
archery makes anything, but
Right.
I don't know. I mean,
It's tricky because soccer, you know, soccer is my favorite sport, soccer and basketball. And soccer is the other way, where it's like you can go pro at 14.
mhm.
There's no one flinches at. I mean, they first did when Freddie Adu went pro because he was he's a 14-year-old American. It was unheard of here, but in Europe, you know, like my favorite club, Ajax, you start playing their youth program at 8. You know, under 9 is their youngest team. And then, you know, if you're really in the academy, I think it's like at 12 or something, then you're in their school system too. At some point you switch over and you're in their schools, because like everything revolves around your training, and so does your schooling. Like it revolves around your training schedule. And you know, you it sounds like you get a good education and stuff, but you know, there's no higher education. But people don't really do that in other countries anyway. You don't other
Right,
countries, you don't do higher ed for the sake of higher ed.
right, right.
But yeah, one of my brothers was until he had a heart condition. You know, he made it to the camp of the national team when he was 15 years old,
Wow.
and he had a heart condition the week before the camp and had to have it was like a minor surgery. And still competed, but at half speed, so he didn't make the World Cup. But he went
Wow.
back to his club team and all that stuff. But anyway, he was never able to get to that full capacity. But when he was at that point, he was being recruited by, or can't really say recruited, but he was watched by, I think it was 18 or 19 of the teams in the Premier League, a lot of Bundesliga, which is a German team, and a German league, and then, you know, all the colleges. But and then my mom has that old mindset of like, you better play for college. You better go to college first. Just go to UVA or Duke or UNC or whatever, or Maryland. Those are the top soccer schools for the most part. But then me and my brothers are in his ear like, dude, don't even think about playing for college. Go to Germany or England and be a
How much would you
pro.
make at that age?
Well, it depends, you know. Well, here's the thing: he couldn't at 15 as an American, he couldn't sign a European deal. There might be some sort of like a delay kind of thing that you could sign, but you have to have an EU work permit to sign for a
Mhm.
European club before you're 18.
All
And
right, fine. Well, how old would a 15-year-old make if they
a
were
15-year-old European, and you're
sure?
good for a good club, I don't know, probably just a couple 100,000 if they're not on the senior team.
Right.
That's just if they're training with the juniors, they're probably making a couple $100,000.
I mean, damn.
Maybe somewhere between 100 and 300, I would
That
guess.
does kind of put the NIL in perspective.
Yeah. But then when you sign with the senior team, you're making
Of course.
you're making serious money, and you can do that at, you know, 14 or 15 if you're over there, if you're good enough. But anyway, we were urging him like, dude, do not even consider college. So and that's what he said too. He's like, absolutely not.
You could do that. You
Going
could
pro.
just do it later.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
always wonder, like, what is the rush with these college athletes? It's just like they put so much effort in for so many decades to make it look completely legit, when
Yeah.
everybody knew that it wasn't,
Yeah.
and you had to bend yourself into a pretzel to act like you believe that it was all above board. It's like, can we just
Right.
stop with that and just make it a separate? All right, I've got
Give
hypotheticals
people
for
their
you.
trophies back. Just give people their trophies back. Give like stop pretending that if someone gave you a Cadillac, you didn't still win the championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
You
absurd.
did it. You didn't go to class. Take the degree
Yeah.
back if it makes you feel better.
It's not
But-
steroids. It's just someone needed. A lot of times it's like, dude, we can't take any money, and it's like, I'm 6'8", 240. I can't just eat on the meal plan, and my
Right.
family doesn't have money. I need 4,000 calories a day, and the meal
Right.
plan cannot provide that.
Right.
You
went through a whole month's card by 11 a.m.
Yeah.
All right, I got a question for you.
Let's
You
hear
can
it.
start any fashion trend. You just start it. You don't even have to be famous, but you can start. No. You're famous for starting a fashion trend. It will start the trend. It will. What's the trend?
Capes.
Everybody's going to be wearing it.
Capes.
Capes.
I've wanted to bring capes back for a very long time, but then I think did I tell you that we had me and my neighbor, we had a joint birthday thing in December, and someone showed up in a cape.
Yes.
My dog was barking at her.
Her? Really?
Yeah.
Like full witch? That's awesome.
Yeah, or it might have been a cloak. I don't know the difference between a cape and a cloak. I guess a cloak probably goes around the front too. You know what? I want cloaks, not capes. I want it to go over the front of the shoulder. So it's like a jacket without arms. That's a cloak. Fuck.
Anything else? Anything else to go with it, or just the cloak?
I want a cloak, not a cape. Okay? Cape doesn't do anything for you. Cloak.
Any headgear?
You can wear whatever you want, otherwise. Yeah.
Okay.
What you want? Should I say a tri-corner hat?
If you want.
I don't think we need tri-corner hats, but a cloak would be pretty great.
Cloak would be. That's a good answer. Have you ever created a player in any kind of video game?
Yeah.
Which one of them would you want as an actual real life friend of the creative players that you've made?
Well, on ice hockey on Nintendo, I can't remember if you actually made. No, you just made your team. You didn't make the guy. I was thinking the huge guy that I would put in goal.
Yeah.
I just think a enormous goal. He's probably pretty jocular.
Yeah, you'd like that. I created a player named Seamus McCracken. In basketball, I forget which 2K it was, but man, that dude could shoot, and he looked insane. There were a couple of times in New York where I would see like this one homeless, unhoused guy, however you say it, in Central Park that reminded me of Seamus McCracken, to where I almost
was he
called
shooting?
out. No, he was, just like asleep in the grass. But I really,
I thought it was his release reminded you.
Yeah, I thought he was
McCracken.
my small forward for the Grizzlies. That's what I thought he was.
That's awfully fun of you that you would create a small forward. Most people will do a center or a point guard.
I don't know. I think I probably played a whole team of creative players. So yeah, I just wanted a guy who would be shooting them from the wing.
I would do like, if I had just because the Bulls have never had like a distinct point guard, I mean, aside from
Derrick Rose.
I mean, I'm talking about older, like in the 90s, Point guard was always sort of the afterthought position because it was like everybody can do everything except for the traditional centers.
Right. You had John Paxson for you. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, you had Paxson and BJ, and then later it was Ron Harper and Randy Brown, I mean, Ron Harper was great, but he took a step back when he came to the Bulls. So that's when he got his knee problems. He was an all-star before then.
I got it.
But anyway, you get the point. So I would create myself as a point guard, put myself on the team. Yeah. Small forward, you don't see it much, You
Yeah,
definitely don't see many people creating themselves as a 4.
No, not
No
at
one's
all.
ever doing that.
No, nobody's ever going to want to be
That's
a 4.
like if you're playing Madden, you're doing a career, and you're like, I'm going to make myself the right guard.
Yes.
It's
Exactly.
you just want to block for 12 seasons. What are you doing? There's no way this is fun for you. Blocking for 12 seasons.
Depends on how deep into the weeds you want to go. I mean, you never know where somebody's heart lies.
Dude, can I tell you this real quick?
Yeah.
Someone we used to work with invited me over to their house 10, 12 years ago to play NBA 2K. I get to their house and the screen is already set up. Like normally, like if you say, hey, you want to come and play video games? You get in. Hey, you want something to drink? You don't need food? Eventually you make it to turning on the TV in the game. It was paused right before tip-off.
He already picked out your team?
He was like, I assumed you wanted the Bulls. And then I'm like, I'm very taken aback, right? And then I see it's 1 minute quarters.
What?
I said, it's 1 minute quarters? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I have a setup for franchise mode.
On 1 minute quarters?
Yeah. You're talking about games that are like 10 to 6, And he said us up for franchise mode where we would only play the game when we played against each other. And each game would take 4 minutes and we would simulate the rest of it because he wanted to get to the off-season transaction portion.
Okay.
With another person.
Okay. Man.
What is the most desperate you've ever been to get out of a place?
Oh man! Oh right.
As soon as I saw this coming, I was like,
"Get there!"
No.
That's when you go to the bathroom and you text Rachel and you're like, "You gotta get me out of here." This is just brutal. That's the only way, but you're still going to be there for 30 minutes minimum.
You might be better off just shitting in the living room.
There was a like this guy in New York kind of recruited me to host this. He wanted it to be a YouTube type show, but like to replace YouTube, he called it Defuse. And it was just a bad idea where I would just make fun of videos, just all this stuff.
Did it end up taking over YouTube?
You know what? It didn't. It never went anywhere. And I think I made $8 on it when they bought me out. But that dude, I would go over to his house. He'd be like, "Hey, can you come over for a few minutes today?" And I'd take the train all the way up to like 130th. And he had this cool place and he wouldn't have anything set up. He'd just be like, "Grab a donut." And there were times when I'd be there for 8 hours. And he's
like
"No,
you're
man,
shooting there. And
yeah,
he hasn't set
we haven't gotten
up.
around to shooting yet. We haven't gotten around to shooting. And from that point on, because I still I don't know why I was still doing it. Come to think of it, I do not know why I kept on with it, because I didn't really believe in it at all. It was just, I don't know, nice to be wanted. And he was, and then from there on, I was just like, I can only come by for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But just like, I can't imagine asking somebody to come over. Hey, come over for an hour. And then you're not on it, but not to that degree where you already have the game queued up.
Craziest shit I've ever seen,
as
man.
As soon as you walk in, he's like, "Your visitor, get over here."
Craziest thing I've ever seen. I'm pause at the tip-off. Also, it's not the opening game of the season. Like, both teams already played like 15 games at this point.
Weird, man.
But yeah, he was Cavs, I was Bulls, so we played all the Bulls-Cavs games for 4 minutes.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about now.
You do.
Give me a rank them, man. I gotta go pee.
Yeah, same here. All right, let's play Rank Them. Rank Them is a game where I give you 3 characteristics. This is for a person who's perfect for you in every way, except for these 3 defining characteristics. You have to rank them. All right? Number 1, will shart in public once per week and thinks it's funny. Thinks it's funny every time. It is disgusting.
Is it loud?
It's loud. It's disgusting. It's smelly. It ruins everything.
I'm such a child that I think that's funny.
Thinks it's hilarious.
All right.
Number 2, plays guitar for 1 hour a day, every day, only plays Wonderwall.
Okay.
You can't get around it. All right?
Forever?
Forever, every day. 1 hour of Wonderwall a day.
Okay. All right.
Plays it every time as if it's the first time.
Yeah, that's...
Hey, Nick, listen
I
to
mean,
this one.
musicians do have to practice the song they're playing, but okay, yeah.
Nick, listen to this one. Hey, Nick, listen to this one. It's every single
They're
time.
constantly asking me what I think about it? Like,
I mean, not the whole time, but, each time she acts like it's a novel thing. Number 3, greets every employee she interacts with. Like this is any sort of commercial exchange. She greets them with, motherfucker, what? So a server...
Violently or playfully?
Playfully. So a server comes over. Hi, I'm Seth. Motherfucker, what?
This is my favorite one I've heard in a while. Man, 1 and 2 were tough.
Yeah. And hey, let's just say this. The motherfucker what? Let's just say she'll censor herself if it's like say it's around your mom or just anything where it's like it would be very inappropriate. Like to just say fuck her. But it's still the same idea.
Well, that's certainly the most tolerable one.
Okay.
Motherfucker, what? That would be number 1.
Is it?
The most tolerable, yeah. Probably Shart. I think
Shart's number 1?
You said Wonderwall every day?
Yeah, every day.
For an hour. Yeah, that... After a while, I understand the premise of this is that otherwise they're perfect, but I just couldn't hack it after... I don't know that I could hack it after a month.
So Wonderwall is behind Will Shart in public once a week?
Yeah, it is.
Very interesting.
I mean, you're not giving me a lot.
You don't have to listen to all of it, but it's in the house every day.
Yeah, well, then I'm listening. The walls aren't that thick.
Okay. Number 3 is going to be Sharts in public once per week because that's the one that's going to complicate my life the most, right? That one's going to complicate my life the most.
Okay.
Number 2 is going to be motherfucker what? Because that complicates my life the second most. Okay?
Right.
Because there are going to be times where I'm just like, oh God, this is unbelievably embarrassing. If we're with my family and I'm like, I don't know. It's a tick. It's a tick. She does it, Plays, I don't like the Wonderwall thing, but I would just call it Wonderwall hour. And I would try to do my own thing for an hour. Right. I would you just go, this is quite the tick that she has. It's quite a tick. But
I mean, you may be right about that. Okay.
But no, I'll accept yours. You can have it third. I'm gonna have it first.
You may be right.
Well, we both have to pee. I had another story to tell you that tagged onto that, but we both have to pee. What would you like to promote? What do you have to say to the people?
Dude, I'm gonna start booking quite a lot. I may be out in San Francisco in about a month and a half, so I'll have to tell you guys about that once I solidify it.
Okay. Great. Well, you can check my schedule at ryanconnorcomedy.com. Coming up in a few weeks in Toronto, Ottawa, and Hamilton. Just after that, Phoenix, Edmonton, Vancouver, Chicago, Philadelphia, DC.
You doing House of Comedy in Phoenix?
And Minneapolis. Yes, in Phoenix, yeah.
Nice.
And I think there's one more city that I'm leaving out. Oh, Mahomet, Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
Nick and I are together in Chicago and Mahomet. And you can also get my book, The Party, on my website or just through Amazon.com. Amazon.com, as if people are like Amazon. What?
.edu?
Yeah. And my special Live from DC is also on Prime and Tubi.
All good stuff.
Anything else, bud?
Well, the only special I got online is about 10 years old. It's a dry bar, but if you want to go watch it, I like maybe a third of it. But That's what you get when you take somebody who needs the money and they're a club comic and they're like, can you do the squeakiest clean set you've
Yeah.
ever done? 45 minutes of it.
Yeah.
You're like, I need the cash, so I'll figure it out.
Yep.
A ringing endorsement. But some people have said that they liked it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great, man. You got great jokes. All right. We'll see you folks next week.
Later.
Just a couple of guys palling around, coming out of your speakers, a beautiful sound. They debate, berate, and have a laugh or two. Connor v. Cobb, for me and for you. La 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 la, la 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 la. Connor v. Cobb, for me and you.
Ryan and Nick. Nick and Ryan. The Scoundrels of the Hour.